Can you all hear me? Is that thumbs ups? I love thumbs ups. Good, so let's find a comfy sitting position. Good, as we sit with our eyes closed. Good, so taking a moment to really ground. So feeling down through the sitting bones. And feeling each piece of your body or each part of the body that's in contact with the earth. And so you allow yourself to settle mind and body onto the mat. See if you can release any tension you might be holding physically. And if, like me, there's areas that are holding and that don't want to release, we all have those spots every now and then, just be aware of them. Move your focus now to the energetic body. Maybe you can feel the buzz of energy moving through your body. Maybe you feel it surrounding you. Maybe you feel nothing. And just see if you can tune in and observe where your energy is at today. And then move the focus to your thoughts. So without engaging with them, or trying not to engage with them, just see if you can observe. How is your mind today? Is it scattered, distracted? Does it feel calm and focused? Are you able to disengage with the thoughts and just observe them? Or do you find that you keep getting caught up in them, carried away? And then shift your focus to your breath. And just observing the quality of your natural breath. So now you can keep your eyes closed if you want to, or just softly opening the eyes and keeping your gaze low. We're going to start by just bringing focus down to the feet. So as we were saying before the class, when we're feeling up and down, and I'm certainly all over the place at the moment, a really nice focus is the feet. It just helps us to really ground if you can get out in nature as well and just stand barefoot. But we're going to start by just giving them a little massage. Just familiarizing ourselves. So just taking hold of the foot, whichever one you want, and massaging through the sole of the feet. And moving on to the tops of the feet. So we start in between the toes and move our way down towards the ankle. Just being aware of any lumpy bits, any of those quite intensely painful bits that we can get sometimes in the feet. Or maybe your feet are feeling lovely and spacious. And then we'll swap onto the other foot. So getting into the toe joints, right the way down the sole of the foot. Good. And moving on to the top of the foot. Again, starting in between each toe, working your way back towards the ankle. Delivery. Good. Then we're going to swap back to the first foot. So bringing your foot to rest onto your opposite thigh and just interlacing the fingers between the toes. See if you can find space. If you can't get all the fingers between all the toes, don't worry, just do what you can. And looping the arm underneath the shin, start to circle that foot. Get the toes moving as well, so we really get into the toe joints. Good. And change the direction of your circles. Good. And then releasing that foot down, swapping onto the other leg. So again, interlacing fingers. Good. And just circling through the ankle, just being aware of how it feels. And if, like me, one feels completely different to the other, just being aware. Really working into the joints of the toes and then changing the direction of the circles. And then releasing that leg down. So from here, we're going to come onto all fours. And just give the wrists a little bit of a stretch. So spreading your fingers wide, your finger pointing forwards. And start to circle the shoulders around the wrists. And change the direction of the circles. Good, and then coming back to the center. So we move into our foot stretches. We're going to start with the toes pointed, tops of the feet to the mat, and then slowly start to lift the heels as you stay on the knuckle of the toes. So the toenails are pointing down towards the mat. The heels lift, and then sit back to your heels. So we're getting the slightly more uncomfortable one out the way first. Hands rested onto the thighs or to the floor. If it's really painful and you can't relax into it, keep your hands to the floor. And then here's a nice place to introduce your Ujjayi breath. Good, and then we're going to come back to all fours. So we're going to just give the feet a little bit of a wiggle. The toes moving again. And tuck the toes under. So we're trying to get all 5 toes involved in this. Sometimes the little one's a bit elusive. It helps, or it can help, to come back into a squat to start with, to get all the toes down. Spread them wide. Good. And then you're going to slowly lower the knees down towards the mat as we stretch through the soles of the feet. Again, you can bring your hands to rest to your thighs and sit up, or you can keep weight into the hands if it's really painful. If you find you can't breathe in it, then keep some weight into the hands so you can. See if you can actually relax into it. And then slowly come forwards. So again, give feet a little bit of wiggle. So from here, we're going to bring the feet to the mat. Your knees slightly wider than hip distance. And you're going to cross the top of the left foot into the arch of the right foot. Don't know if you can see on the video, but the top of the left foot into the arch of the right foot, and then sit down. Oh, some days this just really hurts. If you can put your body weight into it, that's fine. If not, keep your weight into the hands. And then see if you can bring the knees a little bit closer together. So back to hip distance. And hands rested to the thighs or to the ground. And come back to your breath. And then slowly come forward onto all fours. Uncross the feet. Just take a moment here and feel as it releases. Good. And then we take the knees slightly wider than hip distance again. Cross the top of the right foot, so that bony part, right into the arch of the left foot, and then sit back. Again, it might be enough to stay here, or if you want to, you can bring the knees a little closer together. Hands to the thighs or to the floor. And come back to your breath. And then come forward onto all fours. So uncrossing your legs. Again, take a couple of breaths here. Just feel as they release. Bringing the knees and feet hip distance. And moving into your cat-cow. So as you inhale, extending your spine. Exhaling and rounding. Good. And move with your breath, that steady ujjayi. And as you're moving, feel down through the knees, the tops of the shins, the feet, the hands. And start to circle your head and change the direction of the circles. And then come back to the center. So we're going to come up onto our knees and turn to the long edge of your mat. So taking the right leg out to the side, have the toes pointed forwards, so facing the long edge of the mat. Nice straight right leg. Good. And lengthening down through the tailbone. Bring the right hand to the inside of the right leg. So palm facing forwards. As you inhale, taking the left arm up. And on the exhale, reaching over to the right. So coming down the leg. Good. Reaching that right arm against the shin. And you can gently press the back of the right hand into the right leg. And turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. So as you turn the gaze up towards the ceiling, feel down through the feet. Feel down through that whole left leg. And then inhaling, slowly coming back up. Good. So we're now going to turn the toe out. So the right toe turning out so it's in line with the right leg. Again, hand to the inside of the right thigh. Inhaling, taking the left arm up. And as you exhale, reaching down towards the right foot. So try and find length through the right side of the body as well as through the left. If you need to keep a slight bend in that right knee, you can do. Keeping the left hip back and grounding through the feet. Good. And then inhaling, coming back up. Bring the right knee back to the mat. Sit down to your heels. Hands rested to the thighs and close your eyes. Good. And then coming back up onto your knees. So this time taking the left leg out, toe pointing forwards. Good. And we lengthen down through the tailbone, taking the left hand onto the inside of the left leg, or onto the top of the left leg. Inhaling, taking the right arm up. And as you exhale, reaching over. And again, turn your gaze up towards the ceiling or the sky. You can gently press the back of the left hand into the left leg to help turn the rib cage. Good, and then inhale, coming back up. Good, so turning the toes out 90 degrees. So you've got a pointed foot. Left hand onto the inside of the left leg. Find that external rotation of the left thigh, so the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, taking the right arm up. And as you exhale, reaching over. Good, again, turn your gaze up towards the sky. But making sure that as you turn the gaze up, you feel down through your feet. Feel the top of that right shin pressing into the mat. Then inhaling, coming back up. Bring the knees together. Sit down to your heels, hands to the thighs, and close your eyes. Good. And then opening your eyes, come back onto all fours. So walking your hands forward a hand's length. Tuck your toes under and stretch back into your downward dog. If it's your first downward dog of the day, just really uncurl your body into it. Feel. And then move within the pose, however it feels nice for you. Again, connecting through the hands, fingers spread wide, pushing the mat away. Curling the sitting bones up towards the sky, ceiling. Finding that gentle connection of Mula Bandha, that lift just above the perineum. Good, and then walk your feet forwards to the top of the mat. So coming into Uttanasana. And then bringing your hands to the backs of the hips, lift into a flat back. And spread your toes wide. Have a look at your feet. And then press down into the four corners of each foot as you inhale and come up to standing. Bringing your arms down by your side into Tadasana. So as we move through our sun salutations, I'm going to be demonstrating a really gentle variation with cat-cow. If any of you want to practice with knee, chest and chin or with chaturanga, then by all means modify depending on your energy levels today. Mine are at cat-cow. Again, tuning into your breath. On your inhale, floating your arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. On your inhale, lift to a flat back, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, step back to plank. Inhaling, lowering the knees down. Exhaling, rounding to cat. Modify if you want to. Inhale, extending into cow. And exhaling, push back to your downward dog. Inhaling, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhale, folding down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. So root through the feet as you lift. Exhaling, hands to Namaskar. And inhaling, floating your arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, step back to plank. Inhale, lowering the knees. Exhaling, rounding to cat. Inhale, extending into cow. Exhaling, push back to your downward dog. Inhale, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhale, folding down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, hands to Namaskar. Inhale, floating your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, step back to plank. Inhaling, the knees down. Exhaling, rounding to cat. Inhale, extending to cow or upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, push back to your downward dog. Inhaling, step forward, coming to your flat back. Exhale, folding down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hasana. Exhaling, hands to Namaskar. And inhale, floating your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhaling, the knees down. Exhaling, rounding to cat. Inhale, extending to cow. Exhaling, push back to your downward dog. Inhaling, step forwards, come into your flat back. Exhale, folding down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up to stand, Urdhva Hasana. Exhaling, hands Namaskar. And last one, inhaling, floating your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, flat back. Exhaling, step back to plank. Inhaling, your knees down. Exhaling, rounding into cat. Extending into cow. Exhaling, push back to your downward dog and hold it here for 5 breaths. So really taking your focus to whichever parts of the body are in contact with the earth. Feel it underneath you. And then walk your feet forwards or step forwards, coming into your flat back. Exhaling down, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rise up, standing, Uttanasana. Exhaling, hands to Namaskar. Inhale into Tadasana and come back to your breath. So we're going to turn to face the long edge of the mat. Good. And then take a wide step. So about 2.5, 3 feet wide, roughly so that ankles are underneath wrists. We're going to turn the right toes out to 90 degrees and have that right heel in line with the middle arch of the left foot. So we've got a nice straight line. Now push into the ball of the little toe on the right foot. So start to externally rotate through this right leg. So if you can lift the toes back on both feet and press down into the 4 corners as you draw that energy back up the midline. So you can keep the toes lifted if you want to, or lowering them back down. On the inhale, reaching sideways over that right leg to get as much length as you can as you pull that right thigh back. And then take the arm down, coming into Trikonasana. So that hand onto the inside of the right leg, left arm up towards the ceiling. And if you want to, you can turn your gaze up towards the sky or ceiling. If you turn the gaze up, feel down through your feet. If it feels wobbly and you want to turn down, you can turn the head down towards the floor. Find length from fingertip to fingertip. And breathe. Keep that external rotation through the right thigh, drawing that energy back up the legs, so don't get heavy in the legs. Good. And then pressing into your feet as you inhale, come back up to standing. Good. Turn the toes to face forwards, and you can heel toe or step or jump the feet together. And come back into Tadasana. Okay, so again, we're going to take a wide step. So either step or jump the feet. And this time, turn the left toes out to 90 degrees. So we're really working on trying to keep that external rotation, this time of the left thigh. So the knee tracks in the same direction as the left foot. So lifting the toes back on both feet, push down into the four corners of the feet and really press into the little toe ball, the ball of the little toe. Drawing that energy back up the midline, inhaling, arms out to the side, reach over the left leg, sorry. And on the exhale, opening out to Trikonasana. So plug down into the earth, push down into the feet and draw that energy back up. As you root down through the feet, turning the gaze up towards the sky. And focusing on your breath. Okay, then on the inhale, coming up. And turning the left toes to face forwards, step or jump the feet together. Come back into Tadasana, eyes closed or gaze low. So standing with your feet hip distance, then spread the toes. So we're going to stand in Tadasana with the eyes closed and gently rock the weight forwards into your toes. So feel how the body grips and then rock it back into the heels. Yeah, and watching that grip changing. And then rock side to side, just observing how the body reacts as we move. And taking it backwards and forwards. And then keeping your eyes closed, come back to the center. Find that sweet spot in the middle. That balance where your body feels held, but it's not gripping. You feel connected down through the feet, but there's no tension. Good. So from here, we're going to be moving into tree pose. So we're going to start by shifting the weight onto the left leg. And lifting the right leg out in front, so lifting the knee. Bring your hands onto your hips. Flex the right foot. And then open the right knee out to the side and stop as soon as the hips start to turn to the right. Keep the hips facing forwards. Then kick the right heel forwards. It helps to externally rotate the thigh. And bring the foot onto the inside of either the thigh or the shin. If balance isn't your thing, you can keep a toe to the floor and have it on the inside of the ankle. So here, pressing the right foot into the left leg as you push down into the left foot, drawing that energy back up the standing leg. Push the ball of the right toe, the little toe, into the left thigh. Bring your hands in front of your heart center into prayer. So it might be enough to stay here. If you want to, you can take your arms up, coming into whichever variation feels nice. Maybe it's nice to shoulder width. Maybe hands together. See if you can lift your gaze from the floor. Maybe taking it to eye line. Then keeping your focus down through that standing foot. Feeling that connection from the right foot to the left leg. So as we root down to reach up. Good. And then bringing your hands in front of your heart center, turn the right knee to face forwards. And lower the leg down, come back into Tadasana. So feeling down through both feet. And then transferring the weight onto the right foot, lifting the left knee out in front. Flex the foot back. So bring your hands to your hips. And then slowly opening that left knee out to the side. Stop when the hips start to turn. Kick the left heel forwards and bring the foot onto the inside of the thigh or onto the knee. Or again, have the toes to the floor if you need to. So feel the connection through both feet. The right one down to the earth and the left one connecting into that trunk, that right leg. Push into the ball of the little toe on the left leg. Bring the hands in front of the heart center to prayer. So either holding it here or on the inhale, taking the arms up. So we push down through the standing foot to extend up. And then bringing the hands back in front of the heart center into prayer. Turning the left knee forwards. Lower the foot down, come back into Tadasana and close your eyes. So gently opening your eyes. We're going to heel toe the feet about a foot and a half apart and turn the toes out about 45 degrees. So we're looking for that external rotation again of the thighs. So we're trying to get the knees and the toes going in the same direction. And pressing down into the four corners of the feet. Draw the energy back up the legs. Inhaling, taking the arms up. And on the exhale, bending your knees, bring the hands in front of the heart center. Try and stay upright as you come down into Malasana. So feel down into your feet here. Are they collapsing like dead weights? Sorry, I have a very loud helicopter. Can you push down into the four corners of the feet? Good. Last deep breath in. And then lowering your hands to the mat. Come to sitting. And extend the legs out in front. So as we come into Dandasana, I hope you can hear me with this very loud helicopter. It's just passing. So if you need to keep a little bend into the knees here, keep a little bend into the knees, really working on getting the length up through the spine. Hands down by your side. Flexing the feet back. So really feel your back muscles engage. Finding that tilt of the pelvis. As we tip the pelvis forwards, getting a little bit more length through the spine. Then on your inhale, taking your arms up. And as you exhale, fold forwards. So really lengthening the forehead towards the shins. Good. Use your exhalation to release and soften down into Paschimottanasana. And move with your breath. So use that inhale to expand and lengthen. And then the exhale to soften and release. Good. And then on your next inhale, come up to sitting. Good. So from here, you can keep your leg straight, or you can keep the left leg straight, or you can cross the left leg under and bring the heel alongside the right sitting bone, depending on your hips, mostly. So see, we want to have both sitting bones down to the mat. If it doesn't work for you, if you've got a block or a book, you can sit on that, or just straighten the leg, whichever variation works. So sitting up nice and tall. Take the right hand behind you on the mat. As you inhale, lengthening up through the left arm. On the exhale, twisting around to the right. So you can hook the elbow, or you can wrap the arm, whichever one feels right. The wrap sometimes helps you get a bit more pull if you can't get the arm fully hooked. And if you're working into the bind here, you can work into the bind. So taking that right arm through, sorry, the left arm, and then reaching the right arm around. Apologise for the helicopter noise, he's not going away. So with each inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Again, find space. And as you exhale, turning a little bit more, taking the gaze over the right shoulder. Feel down through your sitting bones. Good, and then releasing the bind if you have the bind. Slowly on the inhale, come back to face forwards. And as you exhale, take a little counter twist around to the other side, so very gently. Good, and then come back to face forwards. So swapping the legs over, do turny thing if you want to, or just swap the legs. And finding that evenness of pressure down through the sitting bones. So that connection down. Wow, slightly tighter on one side today. Good, and sitting up tall. So take the left hand behind you on the mat. Inhaling, take the right arm up. And as you exhale, twist. So find the variation that works for you and slowly work your way deeper into this. Again, if you're working for the bind, hooking that right arm under and taking the left arm round. And if you're close to getting the bind and it's not quite there, or it doesn't feel the space, you can always use a strap. And then slowly releasing. Come back to face forwards. So taking that little counter twist to the other side, just holding it here for a couple of breaths. Good. And then come back to face forwards. So uncrossing your legs. Find yourselves a comfortable sitting position. So I'm going to invite you to, we're going to do a little bit of Sufi grind, just a small amount on each side. And then I'm going to invite you to finish the class, instead of in Shavasana, coming into meditation. So finding a really quiet space and practicing this observation of thoughts. So bringing your hands to your knees to start with as we move into Sufi grind, just for a minute on each side. Eyes closed. As you inhale, bringing the chest forwards. Exhaling, circling around to the right and back. Inhaling left and forwards. So tying your movement with your breath, and bring your focus right down to the root chakra. So this red wheel of light sitting at the base of the spine, or sometimes just below the base of the spine. So finishing the circle that you're on, we're going to come back to the center. So take a nice deep breath in. Fully exhale. And then we're going to move anti-clockwise. So inhaling, bringing the chest forward. Exhaling around to the left and back. Inhaling right and forwards. Good. So here you can move your focus up to an orange wheel of light. So this sacral chakra, just back towards the spine, behind the pubic bone. Good, so last circle. And then come back to the center. So sitting up nice and tall. Again, grounding through the sitting bones and feeling the sensations as each part of the body, that's in contact with the earth. With your eyes closed, start to listen to the sounds, the furthest away sounds that you can hear. So maybe outside the house, the window. Maybe there's traffic, birds. And then moving that focus inside your room. Moving it closer. What can you hear around you? And then moving your focus internally. Maybe just listening to the sound of your breath. See if you can keep your focus on your breath. Maybe it helps to count in for 4 counts and out for 4 counts. Maybe you have a mantra that you're working with. But here we start to focus the mind. And if you find at any point your mind wanders off, you engage with your thoughts. As soon as you recognize that, come back to your breath. So now just bringing your focus back, listening to the sounds in the room. Maybe you can hear the birds tweeting from my end, the helicopter. And keeping the eyes closed, take a moment just to visualize yourself, your space in the room. And then bring your hands in front of your heart center into prayer. So before we close the class, we're going to come back to our little gratitude list. So finding 3 things today that you're grateful for. And then repeat those 3 things 3 times. And then we'll close the class chanting 3 Oms together. So taking a nice deep breath in, fully exhale, and inhale for Om. And gently bowing your head. Namaste. Thank you all. Oh, you have to unmute yourselves. I can't do it anymore.